Holy Hannah, the wind is blowing the squirrels out of the trees today. Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. It's been a while. Oh, she just keeps blowing. Here's the story. I went to Pennsylvania, the Red Power Showdown. I came back sick. Nasty cold. The weather got hot. It was in the high 80s and low 90s for a week. I had a fever. It's hard to have a summer fever, so it was down to just doing chores and trying to rest. And now I'm back. The weather's changed. Big thunderstorms rolled through. Power went out. We had hail, and now it's cooled off. And hopefully we'll be back to normal today, this afternoon, tomorrow, something like that. This morning, Hillary and I went to a local place, Johnny's Wholesale, loaded up the trailer with 1,500 feet of perforated and solid drain tile pipe and pipe fittings for the big project. There's a big roll of geotextile fabric in there too. All I'm lacking is, I think 4 truckloads of stone is what I need. Let's get this positioned. This under this cover is the fuel tank and the hydraulic tank. And I am going to change the hydraulic oil in this, but first I got to take the cover off underneath here. This cover right here, you got to slew the machine to one side to expose the cover. These other 2 bolts should be in slotted holes, so I just have to loosen them. I brought out the Imperial crescent wrench instead of the metric, but it still worked. Well, oh, that's nice. What have we here? Grime. Wow. Guess it's been a while since anybody's been in here. There's a drain plug way up in there. And it should be 27 millimeters. That's what the book says. That's not 27 millimeters. What the heck is that? What's the standard metric size for a drain plug? I don't know. I'm used to Imperial stuff. Okay, I brought out all 5 of the metric sockets that I own to try. I guessed 24. We'll see if I guessed right. No, 22. Well, for those who guessed 22, you're winners. Thank you very much. There's 2 filters in here. One's on the supply side and one's on the return side, and I have replacements for both of them. Must have broke the seal because it stopped glugging down at the pan. This is a Case CX25 excavator. It was made in 2004, 2005, actually by Cabelco. They made excavators for Case and New Holland, as well as their own branded Cabelco excavator. And I found the corresponding Cabelco model number for this, exactly the same. And it was actually easier for me to find parts, filters, and such by searching that way. It's got a little Yanmar 3-cylinder diesel in it. Makes about 18 horsepower. And the engine doesn't drive anything directly, the tracks or anything. It just runs a hydraulic pump, and everything else runs off of the hydraulics that pump produces. There's one filter. And here's the replacement for that one. Well, come out of there. New sealing O-ring. This doohickey, which is just a check valve, fluid can only go one way. spring, and cover. Oh my gosh, wind keeps blowing. Next, the other filter. This is a suction filter that actually draws fluid out. If I understand the manual correctly, that is. Filter's on a rod way down there in the bottom of the tank. You must lift out. There. It's a metal screen. And that O-ring on the bottom was what was holding it in. But the replacement, Kobelco, is paper element, I think. Maybe it's just wrapped in paper. Let's see. Yeah. Looks exactly like the old one. It's even got the O-ring in the bottom. Lubed O-ring. And this rod is just lifted in and out with. Yep. She's done draining. My guess is it had about 8 gallons in it. And I've got the arm extended so the cylinders are retracted to get all I can out. In a reasonable fashion anyway. Put the plug back in. This is ISO 46 hydraulic fluid. Right down the yap. I've heard that someplace before. Level gauge is behind here. It's just a glass you sight into. And I'm right at full. You gotta be between the two lines. So we'll seal her up before the roof blows off. New O-ring. The cover. It's a little funny, but the only way you can add hydraulic fluid to this is you got to take this cover off. This is the fill port. There's no easy way. I guess maybe part of the reason for that is this is a pressure relief. This tank has pressure in it as the oil warms up, so you couldn't have like a simple dipstick. Oil level went down a little bit. There must have been smear in the system. I'll top it off and we'll call her done. Howdy, Titus. How's it going, bud? Orton's chilling, chewing his cud. How about some water, big guy? A bear walks into a bar and says, "I'll have a gin and tonic." Bartender says, "Why the big pause?" Bear looks down for a second, says, "I don't know. I think I was just born that way." Oh man, mayhem from the storm a couple days ago. Got to take care of that. Where are they? Maybe if I'm quiet about it, I can take this fence down before they notice. Uh-oh, they saw me. Yes, you guys have been yelling at me all day long. Yeah. Don't hit the wires. Just be careful. I'll pull them up after you come through. No, don't do that. Go ahead, just tiptoe. Use dainty feet. Well, come on, Patty. Patty demands that the wires be moved before she will come through. And a red carpet laid down. Hi, little ones. You can come through. Oh, they ran the other way. You're the steer that thinks he's a bull. You're not a bull, I know it. Yeah. You make the bulls upset in the barn. Here, bud. Yeah. That brown tinge you see is orchard grass that's headed out and died. I know, you guys got lots to eat in here. Hey, you. Where are you going? Here come the calves. They finally found their way. You go, guys. Hi, little ones. Cattle update. 2 went to the butcher a week ago, so we'll have them back and at market either this coming weekend or the weekend after that, depending on when the butcher finishes cutting them. The grass is at that stage where it needs to be clipped. The orchard grass, of course, has gone to seed and browned out. I was going to clip it last week, but it was so hot that there was no way I was going to eliminate all the shading of the soil that the grass provides by laying it on the ground. I wanted to leave it up like this until we get some rain and it cools off like the weather that's heading now, and then I'll start clipping. These pastures really need it. But you know, it's the polyculture in the pasture that's important. This is orchard grass, right? It's going kaput for a while during the hot weather. But this darker green in here is Timothy, and you can see alfalfa coming up in there, and there's clover. They both grow really well during the hot weather. And so the pasture just transitions throughout the season. Look at the garden. Things are growing. The garden's doing well. It survived the heat okay. We came out here to water, but I have really fallen behind on some of my gardening work. Definitely these peppers need to be staked. We got quite a few peppers on here. I picked a couple yesterday and had them in an omelet for breakfast. They were delicious. And I have a whole bunch of peppers, different kinds I've planted through here. These are Carmens. They grow to a long, they're a sweet pepper, long green pepper. And we have the typical bell pepper, green. This is a datil pepper, very hot. It's just getting started. I just planted it, it was late. Cayenne, jalapeno, and shishito. Cucumbers are growing up the trellis. I just give them a little hand now and then, make sure they start on their way up. And there's all kinds of blossoms on here and little teeny cucumbers just inside the blossoms. These tomatoes need to be tied up badly. The wind is pushing them right over. This one's developed into 3 mains, here, here, and there, and I think I'll just leave them. But they also need to be pruned as well as tied up. These are beefsteaks. They're growing. I'm always trimming away though. Got to keep the foliage from touching the ground. for one thing. This is a cherry tomato and it's getting tall. It's got little cherry tomatoes growing on it. Pole beans are starting to climb 4 or 5 feet up. Remember how I mentioned a few videos ago, they always wind counterclockwise? That's what they're doing. Every single one of them goes that way. Zucchini and summer squash here look great. There's no fruit on them yet. They're not blossoming, but they're doing well. Sunflowers. Sweet corn, pitiful as it is, that doesn't really matter that much to me. In the 2 raised beds, we've got greens. I think Hillary's still picking mustard out of this one because she likes it real spicy, but the rest of it's all bolted. We'll be planting these again for fall when it starts to cool down a little bit. And then the other one we're still picking mustard and arugula out of. That's my day, and that's this video. I'm still not back at 100% yet, but I did get quite a bit done. Everything's ready to go to start digging the drainage for the winter pasture. And so over the next videos, you're gonna see that starting. I gotta do pasture clipping with the H and the sickle bar mower. You'll see that coming. And then I've got to paint the 856 in the shop. You'll see that coming, mixed in with a market video upcoming, all the chores with the animals around, and who knows what else. It's the busy season. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.